UAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Tano Program. Cars Plus, home of Guam's first and only lifetime limited powertrain warranty. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Coming up on Prime Time, COVID hospitalizations hit the triple-digit mark. Peter Santos has the latest on what your hospital is doing to make more room. Plus, the first of two virtual public hearings was held on the proposed fines for violating social distancing rules and regulations. National Lecanto has that story. And with the general election tomorrow, the GEC is hard at work to ensure things run smoothly on Super Tuesday.
Hafa and good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. On Friday night, Guam recorded another COVID-related fatality. It occurred at the Guam Memorial Hospital. It was a 63-year-old male with underlying conditions that were further compounded by COVID-19. He was admitted to GMH on October 24th after testing positive at the Guam Regional Medical City. As for the latest numbers, since Friday night, there have been 141 new positive cases reported out of the Joint Information Center. That is out of 1,178 samples that were ran at various labs. Guam's current COVID case count now stands at 4,690 people infected with the coronavirus since March. There are 1,945 people actively fighting COVID in Guam, with more than 2,600 people who have recovered and 79 deaths. The COVID census at the Guam Memorial Hospital currently stands at 86 COVID patients hospitalized. According to Hospital Administrator Lillian Posadas, 14 of those patients are under an ICU level of care, with 4 of the 14 requiring ventilator support. Of the 86 patients being treated for COVID infection, 13 are currently in recovery at the COVID isolation facility in Barrigada Heights. And with Guam seeing a triple-digit number in COVID hospitalizations, with almost all of the patients being treated at the overly crowded Guam Memorial Hospital, Peter Santos has more on what is being done.
Almost all COVID hospitalizations are currently being treated by Guam's only public hospital, where bed space is a scarcity. Hospital Administrator Lillian Posadas gives an update on how GMH is compensating for the lack of beds.
We put up the first Blue Met tent in right outside of the right at the Bay area of the emergency room, where the ambulance pulls in, and it's under the awning, the overhang, so it gives it that protection. So that was erected by the Air Guard and the National Guard teams. And so we've got it pretty much ready to be occupied. We're just now waiting for a sink to be installed, a utility sink.
Posada says the work continues to create more space for patients.
The second Blue Met tent, we're planning to get that up, if not today, then maybe tomorrow, in the doctor's parking lot Bay area. The drive-through area. Again, it's going to be protected by, within that structure. So we're looking to see, when that will be put up.
For the sake of patient care, Posada says some adjustments had to be made.
But the Blue Met tent comes with the package of 10 beds. However, the 10 beds that came with it was kind of like narrow. And, we were concerned that it may not, hold patients for long. And it doesn't look that comfortable because it's got a thin mattress. So we replaced it with what they call fast beds. It's got a thicker mattress and it's a little bit more sturdier. So we've got 8 beds in there.
Posadas hopes to have the tents up and running as soon as possible, but says her team is addressing some possible concerns, such as flooding, before the tents see any patients. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
Since Friday, there have been 14 new COVID cases reported out of the Guam Department of Education. Additionally, the Archdiocese of Agana reports that a second parishioner of San Vicente Catholic Church in Barrigada has tested positive for COVID-19. The parishioner tested positive on Sunday and informed Pastor Father Joel de los Reyes. San Vicente has immediately initiated Archdiocese protocols to safeguard everyone in the community. With apologies, Father Joel announces the need to cancel all Souls Day Masses that were scheduled for today, and the church will be closed through Wednesday for extensive deep cleaning and sanitization. Initial contact tracing indicates this person contracted the virus elsewhere, not necessarily at the church. However, safety protocols are being implemented because the parishioner attended 10 a.m. Mass on Sunday. San Vicente Catholic Church will reopen Thursday for its regular evening mass. According to a post on his Facebook page, Congressman Michael San Nicolas was discharged from the Guam Memorial Hospital on Saturday. He was admitted a few days ago after spending 4 hours at the Gov Guam isolation facility in Tumon. As we reported, the congressman said his physicians told him to isolate after being diagnosed as having viral pneumonia. He had symptoms of COVID-19 and was determined by his doctor to be clinically diagnosed COVID-19 patient. The congressman on his Facebook page said he continued to test negative for COVID. Congressman San Nicolas thanked all those who prayed for him while he was ill and thanked the staff at GMH. On Thursday evening, Adelup raised issue with the congressman's admission into the government isolation facility. Governor's Chief Policy Advisor Carlo Branch alleged that protocols were violated. Branch told KUAM that San Nicolas called his sister-in-law, who was a nurse at the ISOFAC. She had endorsed his admission without the proper documentation and the required public health approval. The congressman refuted the allegations and said no protocols were bypassed. He alleged this was being made an issue because of politics, saying, "When is enough enough for these people?" he told KUAM on Friday morning from his hospital bed. Branch responded that he hopes the congressman gets better, but this has nothing to do with politics. Quote, "The only reason we were aware of the situation is because he decided to put it on Facebook." A virtual public hearing was held on the proposed fines for violating social distancing rules and regulations. Public health spokesperson Janela Carrera says about 20 people attended Saturday, and several witnesses brought up a variety of concerns.
We had some members that raised concerns about the fines, and especially now that we have a high unemployment rate and the affordability of it. We also had some concerns about the applicability of it, who would be enforcing it. We had concerns from people who were also just, wanting to talk about the pandemic as a whole.
The proposed fines start at $100 up to $1,000 for individuals and from $1,000 up to $10,000 for businesses. Another virtual public hearing on the enforcement rules is scheduled for Wednesday afternoon. There's a limit of 100 participants.
After the public hearing, we will post it on our Facebook page and YouTube account. We also set up an email address for those who want to submit written testimony as well. That's publichealth@dphss.guam.gov, and we're accepting written testimony until November 4th at 4 p.m.
They will compile all the testimony for consideration as they finalize the draft rules, which will then be presented to the governor for concurrence. The approved rules and regulations will then be publicized for implementation by public health. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
A 24-year-old man was taken to the Naval Hospital Guam after coming in contact with the power line. According to Guam Fire Department spokesperson Kevin Riley, at around 10:30 a.m., units responded to Ibanez Lane and Toto of a man unresponsive and unconscious. Witnesses state the male was trimming a lemon tree when he came into contact with the high-voltage power line and fell approximately 40 to 50 feet. CPR was conducted at the scene and en route. The Guam Racing Federation continues to seek a long-term lease of Chamorro Land Trust land in Jigo for the Guam Raceway Park. The nonprofit organization is currently on a month-to-month agreement and is seeking a 50-year term. A tentative lease was negotiated with the CLTC 2 years ago, but has yet to be approved. Federation spokesman Henry Simpson says a lack of quorum and the pandemic have delayed the vote. He says they're confident it will eventually be approved, but then it will still need final concurrence by the legislature. Simpson says they invited senatorial candidates to visit the park recently and explain their long-term plans for a safe facility for racing enthusiasts. They also sent an email survey seeking candidate supports, and about 18 have responded.
We got really a lot of support for it. People didn't realize that it was actually threatened.
Right.
And once they realized it was threatened, that they pledged their support.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the people that we put on our list on our website.
I got you.
You can see the list of people that we've that have supported us and that we're asking our members to choose from.
The list of the endorsed senatorial candidates can be viewed at guamraceway.com. And stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
Social distancing may be the new norm. But connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
Hafaday, I'm Amanda Shelton. It's been an honor to serve as your senator these last 2 years, and I've acted each day to represent you and your families. I'm driven by my deep respect for you, the hardworking people of Guam, and that's why I continue to fight to build a better future for our island. And there's still so much to do. That's why I'm humbly asking for one of your votes this election. Please vote Amanda Shelton, number 6 Democrat. Thank you.
Half a day, my name is Jeanette Guzman Chrysostom and I'm voting for Joe S. San Agustin.
Half a day, I'm Ryan Babalta and I'm voting for Joe S. San Agustin.
Mabuhay! Ako po si Micaela Silorio at boboto ko si Joe S. San Agustin.
Half a day, my name is Diana Mkenko Garrido and I'm voting for Joe.
Half a day, my name is Joe Cabana. I humbly ask my friends and families to please join me in voting Joe Shimizu San Agustin.
I'm Senator Joe Shimizu San Agustin, and I approve this message.
Thank you for the opportunity to present myself as a candidate for Congress. To Mr. Sir Nicholas and Mr. Underwood, thank you both for your service and a spirited campaign. For those of you who have yet to go to the polls, and you're not afraid of change, let's write the next chapter of the Guam story, one of recovery and long-term prosperity. I humbly ask for your vote. Win or lose, I'm here for you. I'm Will Castro. I approve this message.
I am the future. We are the future.
The future leaders.
Businesswomen.
Please keep us in mind
when you vote. Don't choose more of the same. John Ananich is unique and new. Focus on the mission of making our island safer
and securing our future.
I am the future.
Vote for John Ananich.
For Senator!
Visit us at johnananich.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
I'm John Ananich, and I approve this message.
Tomorrow, on Election Day, you have the power to make a decision about what kind of representation you want in Washington, D.C. There are more than just names on the ballot. Some say that youth or experience is on the ballot, that party labels are on the ballot. For some, these might be the most important elements. But there's more. There's honesty and integrity and trust on the ballot. Each candidate should be measured against these words. Integrity and trust are not optional. They are required. There is experience and understanding of how Congress works on the ballot. Who among the candidates has had real successful experience in Washington, D.C.? Put aside the party labels and put up front the interests of the people of Guam. We only have one voice in Washington. It must be trustworthy. I will always lift you up. I will not let you down. I humbly ask for your vote to return to Congress again. Si Dus Maasi, maraming salamat po. This is Robert Underwood, and I approve this ad.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. Preparations are well underway by the Guam Election Commission to serve the 55,878 registered voters for the 2020 general election. According to GEC's Executive Director, Maria Pangilinan, today the Commission is going to the quarantine and isolation facilities to serve homebound voters before Super Tuesday. Pangilinan says they have already been to all the hospitals and homes of positive COVID patients being serviced, having serviced 558 homebound voters since October 31st. And since opening 45 days ago, 22% of voters have made their way to the GEC office and satellite office. That's roughly 12,227 voters. For those making their way to the polls tomorrow morning, Pangilinan is reminding the community to follow the public health and CDC protocols they will be enforcing.
So, come 7 o'clock in the morning, our voters are welcome to go to our polling sites. Please bring a black or blue pen. Know that we want to practice, and we are required to practice social distancing. Know that you have to wear a mask, and just follow the directions. We've hired additional help to help us with making sure that we don't spread COVID, where we minimize the chances of spreading COVID.
We should add the GEC has counted 123 off-island absentee votes. Don't forget, polls open tomorrow at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m., and there will be curbside voting available. Less than 48 hours until Election Day, both presidential candidates are making their final pitches to American voters. President Trump is shuttling between rallies in 5 states in one day. Democratic challenger Joe Biden has 2 events in Philadelphia. As CBS News correspondent Tom Hansen reports from New York, a new CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows Joe Biden in the lead among early voters, but Election Day voting could shift the momentum.
President Trump braved the Michigan cold and snow.
Does anybody have a coat I could use, please?
Portrayed himself as an outsider.
I'm standing up to the global special interest who got rich bleeding America dry. You know that?
And expressed confidence he's on the road to victory.
But we're leading before we get to the race. They're very worried.
But a new CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows former Vice President Joe Biden has a lead among the record number of voters who have already cast their ballots, largely because of the coronavirus.
Over 90 million people have already voted. There's too much on the line to sit it out.
The Battleground Tracker also shows President Trump has a large preference lead among people who say they are voting on Election Day. That raises the question of whether he will see an Election Day surge.
We are contacting these voters right now all weekend through the next few days to make sure they turn out to vote.
Biden reached out to African American voters Sunday afternoon at a Souls to the Polls event in Philadelphia.
2 more days we can put an end to this presidency that is from the very beginning sought to divide us, to tear us apart.
Joe Biden plans to continue his focus on Pennsylvania, which could determine the outcome, with a drive-in rally Sunday night in Philadelphia. In addition to campaigning in Iowa, North Carolina, and Georgia, President Trump holds a late-night rally in Miami-Dade County, Florida, just before a midnight curfew aimed at slowing the spread of the coronavirus. Tom Hansen, CBS News.
Another $14.3 million in unemployment checks should be hitting the banks this week. But with only 2 months left before funding under the Federal CARES Act expires, Guam has used up only about half of the $924 million allocated for the PUA program. That means there will likely be several hundred millions left on the table for Guam that won't be spent unless Washington decides otherwise. Labor Director Dave De La Sola.
It looks like it's going to wait until after the election. And if they extend it, that's how it gets extended. I won't be able, or Guam won't be able to get it extended, and the state's not. It'll happen to everyone or no one. The easiest thing is just continue on with the FPUC and retro it back. And then everybody will get another fat check, and we'll continue to the end of December. And then it's up to them to decide if they want to continue it after December.
De La Sola says it's all up to Congress and, of course, the White House. The governor has just signed into law a bipartisan bill to modernize decades-old customs procedures. The measure, sponsored by Senator Mary Torres and Speaker Tina Barnes, requires inbound vessels to submit their cargo and passenger manifests electronically to Guam Customs in quarantine before arrival or face civil and criminal penalties. But as Nestor LeConte reports, it's just the first step in a much larger plan to diversify the local economy.
Speaker Barnes says the law also sets the stage for a major outside-the-box initiative to establish Guam as a global transshipment hub. She's been gathering stakeholder input on various initiatives. For example, providing tax incentives to global giants like Amazon and Walmart to ship bulk goods sourced in Asia to Guam for packaging and onward U.S. distribution. Also for tech giants to ship components for multi-part electronics to Guam for assembly here. The goal is to create thousands of new jobs.
Why not look at America and Asia, or Asia and America, and Guam is that prime location, and it has been very receptive, and I'm hoping that with the bipartisan support and working with the business stakeholders and just everybody in general, including the White House, I I'm hoping that we can facilitate this project. It's a big one.
A big one indeed, as Guam would be competing with the likes of Singapore and Hong Kong, which have long established traditional trade routes for Asia. In comparison, Guam is more out of the way geographically and also subject to U.S. laws and limitations.
What are the federal regulations and protocols here that are restrictive that we can work with the White House and to ease those restrictions or to work on them, to make amendments to change those protocols?
She says the chamber is working on a similar plan for production of pharmaceuticals here and are also seeking more input from federal regulatory authorities. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Thank you, Nestor, and congratulations to the University of Guam Dean of the School of Health, Dr. Margaret Hattori Uchima, for induction as a fellow into the prestigious American Academy of Nursing. She is the first nurse from Guam to achieve this distinction. The Academy serves the public and the nursing profession by advancing health policy, practice, and science through organizational excellence and effective nursing leadership.
I feel it validates our profession. It shows that we do matter, that a nurse from a small island can make an impact and contribute to our profession. This honor comes at a time when many are suffering from personal losses due to the pandemic. I take comfort in this recognition that dedication to our community is indeed worthwhile.
The Academy and its more than 2,700 members known as fellows create and execute knowledge-driving and policy-related initiatives to drive reform of America's health system. That's according to its website. The Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence is gearing up for a huge webinar in the upcoming month. Tyler Matanani tells us more.
The Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence will be holding the 2020 No More webinar series addressing support for all sexual assault survivors. They've partnered with the California Coalition Against Sexual Assault, who will be providing the training over the course of 3 weeks. Guam Coalition Executive Director Cynthia Cabot.
So we have this opportunity to be able to provide it for free to anyone here on the island. It is one that would certainly be of interest to perhaps community advocates, to law enforcement, judiciary, to the schools, to all of our key partners in the community.
The webinar will cover a wide range of topics ranging from Sexual Assault 101 to exploring alternative ways to achieving justice for survivors in the criminal justice system, school, and the workplace, to ending tech abuse across generations on teen dating. Cabot says that within the past 5 years, Guam has been ranked within the top 3 per capita across the nation for sexual assault and family violence.
This past year, based on the stats and based on my initial review, we're probably close to number 2, and the only one ahead of us is Alaska.
Cabot adds that it's not only the responsibility of law enforcement or survivors. She's encouraging everyone to be knowledgeable and be a part of the solution to addressing this in our community. For victims seeking guidance, you can contact Victim Advocates Reaching Out or VERO at 477-5552. For more information and to register for the free webinar, visit guamcoalition.org. If you have any questions on the event, email info@guamcoalition.org. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
And now time for our weekly Fanatic Zoom Zone segment where Dave Delgado catches up with local NFL fans about their love for the game and predictions for the season.
Dave Delgado here for this week's Fanatic Zoom Zone. With me, John Kramer, who's rolling with the defending Super Bowl champions, the Chiefs. Tell us when the love for your team first started.
Well, since I was born in Kansas City. My dad's always been a Chiefs fan. He used to take pictures for him back in the day, and I've been raised a Chiefs fan my whole life. Game day traditions, get together with some friends, watch the game, usually standing up a lot. Like if it's close, like half those games were last year in the playoffs especially, on my feet, getting loud.
Which team do you look forward to facing every season?
Well, I wouldn't say I look forward to facing them, but I hate them the most, the Raiders. Twice a year, that's the game that I really like to see the Chiefs win, and obviously they didn't produce this year in the first matchup.
Top 2 all-time favorite players?
Bobby Bell, he's a great defensive player from back in the day, way back in the day. And then I'd say my other favorite, I shoot, it's so tough. But I like Travis Kelce quite a bit. He's got great hands and he can get the ball downfield.
Coming up, regional news from Saipan. Keep it here.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
I know that declaring war on corruption is an invitation for hurtful attacks and half-truths against me and my service to the people. But I also know the people of Guam are stronger and smarter than these dishonest players whose misdeeds and acts of corruption have cost us millions in political payoffs this year alone. If we allow corruption to continue, we all lose. Let's put an end to corruption. Vote Joanne Brown for Senator. My name is Joanne Brown and I approve this message. Paid for by the committee to elect Joanne M. Brown for Senator.
Hafide Guam, this is Telo Tairiwi. Fighting for you has been my honor, regardless of the politics and the challenges we faced. I've worked hard every day to improve GMH facilities, fund security cameras for public safety, support road repairs, and call out legislation and decisions that break the people's trust in government. The fight for these priorities isn't over. It's just begun. I'm Telo Tairiwi. I approve this message and humbly ask for your vote. Situs Masing, Maraming Salamat po. Thank you, Guam.
Thank you for the opportunity to present myself as a candidate for Congress. To Mr. St. Nicholas and Mr. Underwood, thank you both for your service and a spirited campaign. For those of you who have yet to go to the polls and you're not afraid of change, let's write the next chapter of the Guam story, one of recovery and long-term prosperity. I humbly ask for your vote. Win or lose, I'm here for you. I'm Will Castro. I approve this message.
Get going with GTA Prepaid Unlimited. It's easy to load. Simply press *488#, send, select 2 on your screen, and then load. And with fast LTE data, you're able to quickly connect and share to your digital world. Plus, with reliable service, you're able to connect with loved ones whenever, wherever. GTA, we start with you.
Tomorrow, on Election Day, you have the power to make a decision about what kind of representation you want in Washington, D.C. There are more than just names on the ballot. Some say that youth or experience is on the ballot, that party labels are on the ballot. For some, these might be the most important elements. But there's more. There's honesty and integrity and trust on the ballot. Each candidate should be measured against these words. Integrity and trust are not optional. They are required. There is experience and understanding of how Congress works on the ballot. Who among the candidates has had real successful experience in Washington, D.C.? Put aside the party labels and put up front the interests of the people of Guam. We only have one voice in Washington. It must be trustworthy. I will always lift you up. I will not let you down. I humbly ask for your vote to return to Congress again. Sidus Maasi, Maraming Salamat po. This is Robert Underwood, and I approve this ad.
Here's your regional headlines with KSPN2 News.
Hafide Guam, here are the headlines for CNMI.
October 16 was the submission deadline for the RFP 20 Red 004, and that's the lease and development of the Marpe properties, formerly known as the Marianas Resort. On that day, we did receive 7 proposals submitted. Unfortunately, one did not make the payment for the administrative processing fees, so they are automatically disqualified.
These 6 companies that submitted proposals are Amcon LLC, which is led by Yukon, IH Group. Their website says they are a Korean company with hotel and casino projects scheduled for Rota. A company called Mariana Global Inc., A company called Ocean B LLC, we were not able to find out much about them. Mariana Eland Corporation, which runs PIC, Kensington, and Coral Ocean Golf. And the final bidder, a company called Hanmaik Saipan Corporation. Yesterday was the first day the proposals were opened.
Prior to the opening, we did form a committee, and yesterday was the official opening of all the proposals. Prior to that, we do not know what was in the packages or the envelopes. Yesterday, when we opened it, we were able to distribute the proposals to each evaluators, and they are given a timeline for 15 days to meet up and discuss their review within the 15 days.
The evaluation team is made up of 7 individuals, 5 from DPL and 2 that are affiliated with MVA. During the review, the committee will ensure all the companies that submitted a proposal meet the qualifications of the criteria in the RFP.
DPL will make an informed decision, but we'll also have to share the list of bidders or the list of proposers with the Public Lands Advisory Board, and then run through the Public Law 15.2 requirements of publication. And then when all that is completed, we will bring it up to the legislature. Ultimately, they will decide on the approval of the lease based on DPL's selection.
The Marpi properties include the hotel, pool and golf course, and the race kart track. Due to the procedure, Terragezo says it could take up to March 2021 before the new operator takes over the properties.
For more news, visit saipantv.com. For KSPN2 News, I'm Ashley McDowell.
And we return your birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday.
Let your voice be heard, Guam. Your vote is your voice. The Guam Association of Realtors Political Action Committee is a bipartisan group actively supporting candidates who will pass laws that protect the real estate industry and the community as a whole. Visit their website at guamrealtors.com/vote to learn more about the key issues they are advancing and the candidates they are supporting to protect and promote home ownership and property rights on Guam.
Thank you for the opportunity to present myself as a candidate for Congress. To Mr. St. Nicholas and Mr. Underwood, thank you both for your service and a spirited campaign. For those of you who have yet to go to the polls and you're not afraid of change, let's write the next chapter of the Guam story, one of recovery and long-term prosperity. I humbly ask for your vote. Win or lose, I'm here for you. I'm Will Castro. I approve this message.
You could upgrade to the sparkly sprinkle pack on Cupcake Conquest. Or you could upgrade to all this. 2 crunchy tacos and a medium drink. Plus, the beefy cheesy layers of the Grande Stacker Box. Only at Taco Bell.
Hafade, I'm Tony Atta. I'm running to be your senator in the 36th Guam legislature. Together, we will build a Guam with a more resilient and diverse economy. Together, we will make our neighborhoods safer for our families. Together, we will streamline government spending by passing a realistic, responsible budget. I'm Tony Atta, and I humbly ask for your vote. I'm number 7 on the Republican side of the ballot, and together we will. I'm Tony Atta, and I approve this message.
It's been very hard, especially the very few months. It was very uncertain. Now that we had the opportunity to do something to bring some norm to our life, why not do it? I just encourage everybody out there who has the right to vote, please go ahead and do it because it counts. My name is Francesca Peña and I'm the face behind a Kitty Candle. I'm out here today at Skinner Plaza like every Thursday to encourage you to get out there and vote. It counts.
I'm John Adanich, and I approve this message. Co-bans in villages and facilities like this one need to be fixed, manned by police officers so they can respond quickly to any incident. I will fight for more police officers in our communities, more training and safety equipment. Guam is my home, its people my family, and my family is in trouble. Give me an opportunity to serve you, and I will serve you well and protect you and your family as a lawmaker.
We won't stop dreaming.
It's kind of nerve-wracking. You're left out there to figure out what's going on.
Because
We really didn't know what was going to happen.
Of course, my number one thought was, man, I gotta really do my best to make sure that I don't catch this, right?
And I had to really think about what I was doing and the risks that I was putting myself into.
It makes me feel a lot safer coming to work. We are taking the extra measures to keep the community safe.
We had to just react based off of what were the known risks and how we could do our best to mitigate that.
We wanted to make sure that it wasn't just your finances that were taken care of. We wanted to let you guys know that your health matters to us.
It takes a community effort. We're in this together, stronger than ever.
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 And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Happy birthday on the second day of November to Ray Cruz, who blows out the candles today. Your GWHS Gecko family class of 1972 is wishing you loads of happiness on your special day. Have a wonderful time, my friends, they say, and an even happier birthday. Happy 21st birthday to Nolan Flores. Knowles, we love you so much, and we are proud of you, says your shout out. Frank Hernandez, happy birthday to you, and on your birthday, we wish you success and endless happiness again from the Gecko class of 72. Megan Gay gets not one, but two greetings. Happy birthday, Megan, and have a blessed birthday. We love you. We hope you have an enjoyable COVID birthday with us and your friends. Love, your familia. That's number one. Then number two says, happy birthday, blessings to this beauty, Megan. Wishing you an abundance of love, blessings, and plenty of virtual hugs. Thanks for all that you do. Stay safe, and we love you. Also, Angel Piper has a birthday today, and happy birthday all the way from Killeen, Texas. May God bless you with many more to come. Enjoy your day, Mom D and Dad John. We've also got some belated birthday wishes going out to, first and foremost, born on November the 1st, Daniel Leon Guerrero. You inspire us to stay focused and healthy every day. Have a wonderful day. We love you. And happy birthday, says your special people. Shailene Phillips, happy birthday to Mommy. We love you so much. Love always your boys and the family. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, Sienna Gianni Mendiola. Happy birthday number 8 to our sweet little girl. We wish you everything amazing on this day where we honor you.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birthday. That's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Thanks for watching. Have a good night and be safe.
News Extra, I want to thank you for watching wherever it is that you're watching, whether it's on TV8, TV11, on KUAM News Facebook page, or YouTube. Thank you so much. And what I like to do on my show, as I've said, is focus on groups or individuals that are doing good in the community, especially in this time where we could all use a little good in our lives. And joining me today is Juanita Blas from Island Girl Power. Juanita, long time no see. Hafa and welcome to the show.
Hafa.
Now, you
for
are
having
wearing
me.
your Island Girl Power shirt, and before we came on the show, you mentioned that this is your 20th anniversary. So first of all, happy anniversary to Island Girl Power.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Can you imagine that when you started this 20 years ago, that here you would be 2 decades on doing all this in the community, touching so many lives? Was this part of the plan all along, or did it just evolve and grow into what it is?
There was a plan also to expand into Micronesia. And it's a slow and tedious process, but we've been able to maintain the Guam location. And at times we've had 2 or 3 locations and sometimes 5 locations on the island. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. Honestly, this is just something that needs to be in the community.
Yeah, I
Good
agree.
programs.
And for those that don't know, 20 years ago when you started up with this plan, what was the plan for Island Girl Power? Why did you get it started, and what is it that you do?
Geez, I was 26 and had 3 kids, all daughters. and another daughter on the way. So hence the island girl power. But it was also a lot of the influences in the community. At the time, you couldn't go to a sports event or a concert, and some of it's still hard now. But you couldn't go to a fiesta or the Liberation Parade without seeing just inundated by alcohol signage, you know, and even kids sports groups. So little kids, you know, do the football and everything, and you saw it everywhere. There was no way around it. And so creating a place that focused on prevention, but also not just by lecturing. You can't bring a bunch of kids in and tell them, don't do this, don't do that. It's about bringing positive activities and hobbies and ways to cope. We need to teach them how to cope with the stresses, because it was also about suicide prevention. I got involved because of my kids, and I stayed because of my kids. No, and then my kids got bigger. It got to be the girls at the center, and the girls' brothers, and their cousins. So the kids kept me going. But a lot of it is it's survived this long, not just because of me, but because of the volunteers. We've had some of the most amazing people volunteer here at Island Girl Power.
Yeah, and you mentioned there lecturing to kids. Sometimes when you do that, the walls immediately go up, like this adult is lecturing me. Oh, boring. But you, as you sit there in your garden, you give these girls creative outlets, you know, things, working with their hands, those crafts projects, your beautiful garden that you have there. I see the dragon fruit in the background. It's something like that kids really get to see the fruits of their labor, figuratively and literally. And so it really gives them kind of a goal, a mission, and something productive to do with their time.
Yes, and one of the core elements that we always wanted to have in the program was access to self-defense classes. And so it started with it started with Kempo Karate, and then Aikido, and then evolved into Capoeira. We had great Capoeira team. I think the Capoeira group is celebrating their 15th year on Guam. And Aikido, Akikai is still our partner, and they were coming in and doing sessions with us once or twice a year. So self-defense is important, but done in a way that teaches them it's really about how you carry yourself and who you put yourself around. You're not trying to overpower or build muscle to take someone down that's hurting you. It's about being smart and choosing to do the right thing.
Want a real taste of New York? The Big New Yorker is back with a big, bold taste and a sweet marinara sauce on a crust that's 30% larger than our large. Handmade to perfection. It's just $9.99 per carryout. The Big New Yorker, only at your Island Pizza Hut.
Half a day. I'm Elaine Tamanya Johnson and I'm voting for Joe S. Augustine. Woo-hoo!
Half a day. Guahu si Joe Mesngun. Kugagagaham du Toru para un fanbota si Joe S. Augustine para senador.
Half a day. I'm Crystal Augustine. I'm from Malesu and I'm voting for Joe.
Ako si Winston Ilisito. Iboto natin si Joe San Agustin for Senator. Mamuhay!
I'm Senator Joe Shimizu San Augustine, and I approve this message.
Let your voice be heard, Guam. Your vote is your voice. The Guam Association of Realtors Political Action Committee is a bipartisan group actively supporting candidates who will pass laws that protect the real estate industry and the community as a whole. Visit their website at guamrealtors.com/vote to learn more about the key issues they are advancing and the candidates they are supporting to protect and promote home ownership and property rights on Guam.
I'm John Ananich, and I approve this message. Cobans in villages and facilities like this one need to be fixed, manned by police officers so they can respond quickly to any incident. I will fight for more police officers in our communities, more training and safety equipment, Guam is my home, its people, my family, and my family is in trouble. Give me an opportunity to serve you, and I will serve you well and protect you and your family as a lawmaker.
We won't stop dreaming.